I'm Veronica Dudo. Tonight on EWTN News Nightly, near the finish line, lawmakers have to clear just one more hurdle before the shutdown ends. We're on Capitol Hill with the details. New leadership. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops chooses a new president, who he is and who else was elected. Arctic blast. Record low temperatures are seen in the U.S. as frigid air moves in. How long it will stick around. Plus, a few of his favorite things. Ahead of the Holy Father's meeting with the world of cinema, the Vatican releases his favorite films. We have the list. These stories and more tonight.
From EWTN, the Global Catholic Network, this is EWTN News Nightly.
Thank you for being with us on Veterans Day and the feast day of St. Martin of Tours. Our top story tonight, it's taken 6 weeks, but the U.S. government is one step closer to opening. That's after the Senate voted to fund the government, and the House is likely to vote on the bill Wednesday. Democrats want to extend Obamacare subsidies beyond the end of the year, and pro-life organizations are watching carefully. Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Rosales joins us with more. Eric.
And good evening, Veronica. Yes, over 100 pro-life groups are lobbying Congress right now to oppose forced taxpayer funding of abortion through Obamacare. The new agreement to open the government doesn't include an extension of those subsidies. And one group is Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. Organizers there tell me that Democrats wrote the original Obamacare law by subsidizing insurance plans that cover elective abortions, which is a violation of the Hyde Amendment, which bans taxpayer dollars being used to fund abortions.
This is the biggest work around the Hyde Amendment that we've ever seen. And it's just ridiculous that we've been funding abortions through this terrible law. And so we've been adamant that Republicans need to stand firm against this.
Pro-life lawmakers tell me protections for the unborn is a red line for any new health care reform bill passed by Congress.
It'll be an important priority for us to make sure that the sanctity of life is protected and that we're not subsidizing abortion in this country.
Federal tax dollars should not be used to fund abortions, where a good percentage of the American public feels that just is morally repugnant. Okay, I mean, I understand other people have a different view, but at a minimum, let's not spend federal dollars on that.
Democrats claim Obamacare doesn't allow abortion coverage.
All of these myths and misconceptions and misinformation are part of a Republican strategy to discourage the ACA healthcare tax credit.
But EWTN News Nightly found a dozen states that currently require Obamacare plans to cover abortion services.
If you're going to extend the subsidies, they have to be Hyde compliant. We can't continue to do this thing where we are subsidizing abortion through these subsidies, because the result of that is more unborn children who lose their lives and more women in this country who are hurting.
As part of the Senate deal, Senate Majority Leader John Thune promised a vote on Obamacare reform by mid-December. House leadership says pro-life provisions are a priority in the remaining funding bills as well.
The leadership team, our speaker, has made it very clear that those are going to be in these appropriations bills. The Hyde Amendment.
And until these new funding bills are passed, government agencies will continue to run on Biden-era policies. Now, Congress has yet to finalize several key spending bills, including Health and Human Services, which contain pro-abortion language. Now, Republican leaders vow to change that and stand firm until these new spending guidelines are passed. And I'll continue to follow it, and that work is supposed to take place next week. At the Capitol, Eric Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.
President Donald Trump applauds the push to reopen the government. He spoke during a Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. President Trump tells America's veterans, "We love you, we salute you, and we will never forget what you have done to keep America safe, sovereign, and free." White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports.
Veronica, this was President Donald Trump's first Veterans Day since returning to office, and it arrives just as the U.S. government is set to reopen for business and includes money for the VA.
On this Veterans Day, President Donald Trump praises Americans who put on the uniform.
Today, to every veteran, we love our veterans. We say the words too often left unsaid. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much.
The president also briefly addressed the government shutdown, congratulating lawmakers who fought to reopen.
A very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed. Should have never been closed.
The bill, which funds much of the federal government through January 30th, keeps certain programs, including agriculture, military construction, and Veterans Affairs, running through September. Shutdown aside, most of the president's speech today focusing on the millions who have served in uniform over the generations. Veterans Day dates back to the armistice that ended World War I. It has evolved into a day of recognition for all veterans and those still serving. President Trump also took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and stood at salute during the playing of taps. And in his concluding remarks, President Trump said veterans come from every corner of this nation with selfless commitment and unyielding conviction, answering God's call.
When danger came, when duty called, when Almighty God asked, who had the will and the strength to defend the land of the free, each and every American veteran stood up and said, "Here I am, send me, here I am."
President Trump also says in his first 9 months in office this year, his administration has cut the backlog of VA benefit claims in half, and they're trying to get it down to zero. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.
Joining us now is Chris Lovell, CEO of Lovell Government Services and retired Marine Corps Major. Chris, thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, Veronica. Thanks for having me. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. Well, of course, to you as well. Thank you for your service. What does this day mean to you and the people who you served with?
It's a reflection and gratitude. So it's memories and gratitude. I'm grateful and blessed that I was able to even be qualified to join. The Marines don't just take anybody, right? And that's the way for any branch of service. It's highly selective, and great young men and women are continuing to join. But for me, also the people that I served with, we reach out. It's like family. It's the happy birthday for the Marine Corps birthday yesterday. Happy Veterans Day today. People that I'd served with almost 40 years ago are reaching out, and it's nice to reconnect. So it's a day of gratitude and reflection for a lot of veterans.
And it certainly is a close-knit group, as you just mentioned. So what are some of the main issues also, that veterans are dealing with today, and what can the average American citizen do to help?
Yeah, veterans are resilient, tough people. I mean, the job itself is difficult, right? So they're tough people, but they're like everyone else. We have challenges too. Sometimes, you get some anxiety about things. My company works with industry to bring the best medical technology to bear to help veterans with a lot of mental health and just holistic help for them, and bring what industry has to bear and introduce it to the VA. It's what we do. The VA hospital system and the Department of Defense hospital system. I think we've seen an uptick in some anxiety amongst active duty members and veterans with the government shutdown. I think most people would agree it wasn't necessary. And, I say that I wish that senators and Congress members would have to join the military first at some point in their lives before they can actually be qualified to run for that office, because the military from day one teaches you to think of others first. And I think the shutdowns kind of showed a lot of folks that they weren't thinking of others first. And so some veterans went through some anxiety with the shutdown. I think it sounds like it's getting close to being over. And I think the Trump administration did the right thing by ensuring the troops continue to get paid during the shutdown.
Now, as you mentioned, the government shutdown did disrupt a number of things. How were veterans affected?
So the Veterans Administration is considered an essential organization. So I would say 95% of the veteran hospitals, the veteran services were not affected. But what was affected most were the rehabilitation and vocational services, the transitioning members from the active duty military to, what's next for them, right? Whether they serve for 4 years or for 20, 30 years. It's these services that are made available to them via outreach, just to help them with the transition. Those services were affected because 15,000 of those employees of the 400,000+ VA administrative employees were furloughed. And so what that means is right now we're dealing with a backlog. I think Secretary Collins mentioned 2 days ago of about 10,000 veterans who are waiting for these services, which I think the shutdown obviously affected that and completely unnecessary.
Chris Lovell, thank you so much.
Thanks, Veronica.
Today, EWTN News spoke with Archbishop Timothy Broglio of the Archdiocese for the Military Services about what the faithful should be aware of this Veterans Day.
I think we always thank Almighty God for the gifts that our brothers and sisters have shared with us. That's one reason. I think another reason, too, is just the human factor. So many times, men and women who have been involved in war come back, sometimes with physical injuries, sometimes with moral injuries, and I think it's also time to pray for them as the healing process continues. And it's good never to forget the good that has been done.
Archbishop Broglio served as the president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops until today, when the USCCB elected a new president at their plenary assembly in Baltimore. Archbishop Paul Coakley of the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City begins a 3-year term in the position. He previously served as secretary of the USCCB and has a history of promoting a culture of life, opposing gender ideology, and supporting migrants. In 2022, Archbishop Coakley praised Oklahoma lawmakers following a law that banned nearly all abortions. In that same year, he also criticized the Oklahoma government for its support of the death penalty. And earlier this year, he criticized the mass deportation efforts carried out by the Trump administration. Meanwhile, Bishop Daniel Flores of the Diocese of Brownsville in Texas will be vice president of the USCCB. Flores is the former president of the Committee on Doctrine. He will also serve a 3-year term and succeeds Archbishop William Laurie of the Archdiocese of Baltimore. Later in the day, during a moderated discussion, 2 bishops were asked to share their thoughts about the current state of immigration in the U.S.
So many of our people who are suffering, that we really, the gospel teaches us, especially to be compassionate, reach out to the immigrants.
The sweep has taken up so many others and has the risk of setting aside any kind of due process, which is such a fundamental part of our nation's basic approach, that everyone has certain rights.
Now to another story we are following. Last week we covered reports that communion was being held from immigrants in a detention center in a suburban Chicago. The allegations sparked concern among faith leaders, including Pope Leo. Following these events, EWTN talked to Kelly Ryan, president of Jesuit Refugee Service USA. It provides a detention chaplaincy program offering pastoral and spiritual care in federal detention centers here in the United States.
This is a program, a longstanding program for Jesuit Refugee Service, and we're very proud of it. We are a partner with ICE, so we are in 6 detention facilities around the country, helping migrants with their spiritual needs. And it is an incredibly inspiring program when people are detained, and the numbers are significant now. There are more than 60,000 individuals detained in the United States. They really do need Mass, they need the sacraments. So our chaplains are working with them to give them the spiritual accompaniment that they need. I can tell you myself, I was in El Paso and I was able to attend Mass with detainees, both men and women. They were segregated. And it was one of the most moving Masses I've ever attended. People were crying, and they were really grateful for the opportunity to have a Jesuit offer Mass with them. And it had a big, huge effect on their mental health as they were detained and worried about their futures.
12 people are dead and 27 others injured after a suicide bombing outside a district court in Pakistan. The bombing took place in Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, and marks the deadliest in more than a decade. Pakistani leaders believe the attack was backed by Indian extremist groups and Afghan Taliban proxies. Officials say the investigation is still underway. The attack comes after peace talks between Afghanistan and Pakistan to maintain a ceasefire failed this week. An Arctic blast breaks brings freezing temperatures and even snow to 2/3 of the U.S., placing millions under winter weather warnings. Snow hit New York, Indiana, and Pennsylvania, reaching up to a foot in some places. Meanwhile, Florida, Alabama, and other southern states are already seeing historically low temperatures. It's a record that some say is too early for the season.
It's too cold. It's too early. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. It needs to heat back up soon because we're freezing.
We have a lot more still to come on EWTN News Nightly, joining the conversation. As the world explores all the things that can be done with artificial intelligence, the church wants to make sure one question isn't forgotten. And it's an international effort aimed at mercy, healing, and converting. How you can join in. Artificial intelligence is quickly advancing, raising new questions about how it should be used. Pope Leo is calling on scientists, entrepreneurs, and faith leaders to ensure that emerging technologies remain rooted in respect for human dignity and the common good. EWTN Vatican journalist Benedict Sedegren has more.
As robotics and artificial intelligence continue to evolve, they are reshaping industries and transforming the way we live and work. The Church, too, is joining the global conversation, asking not just what we can do, but what we should do. That question was at the heart of the Builders AI Forum, where around 200 experts, tech developers, and investors gathered at the Pontifical Gregorian University to discuss the opportunities and ethical challenges of artificial intelligence.
What does it mean? What will the impact be? How do we participate in it? And what voices, what stories, what thinking do we bring to the conversation that is being had all around the world? And specifically, as we think about ourselves as members of the church, what can we contribute?
Participants took part in several workshops discussing the potential applications of artificial intelligence, including its benefits and positive impacts.
Imagine if you are a surgeon, imagine if you're a doctor, and it's taking all the signals that's happening to the patient right then and there in front of them and giving them an aggregate view. It's assistive technology. It doesn't dominate the situation. It gives that assistance to the practitioner at the end of the day. So I'm excited for the people coming up now through engineering and science and biology and all of these fields to learn and to use it. Imagine the problems that they'll solve.
Much of the discussion focused on the need to protect human dignity while creating tools that truly serve people's needs. Humanoid robots in particular drew attention, and the fact that there still aren't any clear ethical guidelines for their development or use.
Imagine a robot in the home who's, cleaning your kitchen or walking your dog, your children around. So there's a lot of concerns, and unfortunately the push to get these robots to market is so strong that we may not have all the guardrails in place before that happens.
In a message addressed to the participants, Pope Leo noted that artificial intelligence, like all human invention, springs from the creative capacity that God has entrusted to us. He urged all not only to place technology at the service of evangelization and the Church's mission, but to develop systems that reflect justice, solidarity, and a genuine reverence for life. Many focus today on designing systems and developing robotics that keep humans in control.
The way that I design AI apps is in a model called human in the loop, HITL. A human in the loop is a system where the human gets to decide and the human judgment and the human framework rises to the top. But the tools will get better, and we'd be foolish to stand in the way of progress. We want that progress to happen. We just want to do it responsibly for the human to be in that role.
In Rome, Benedict Sedegren for EWTN News Nightly.
Up next on EWTN News Nightly, converting the world, how you can join an international effort this week to bring the world closer to Christ. Plus, a few of his favorite things the Vatican reveals, Pope Leo's go-to films. We have the list. Christians will gather for the 33rd International Week of Prayer and Fasting, which begins November 15th. One of their missions is to pray for the conversion of the world. This year's theme is Mercy and Healing for the Jubilee Year of Hope. The event will feature live and virtual speakers from around the world, a Eucharistic procession, and opportunities to pray with special relics. Maureen Flynn, founder of the International Week of Prayer and Fasting Coalition, joins me now. Maureen, can you tell us how this initiative first came about? What was the goal when you first started it, and how has it evolved?
Yes, okay. So actually, my husband, Ted, and I founded it along with John Downs, who is now deceased. We started it in 1990, October 7th. That was the first year. And what happened is the previous year, we had been talking with John Downs and saying we need to do something. This, back then we thought abortion was getting even worse. Of course, look at today, but there's good news on the horizon with the Dobbs decision. But back then we said we've got to do something. And so he said, well, I think we need 7 days and nights of prayer. I said, really? I thought 1 day of prayer was great. He goes, nope, 7 days and nights of prayer. And he said, when you go to bed, this was back in November 1989, when you go to bed tonight, ask the Blessed Mother when she wants it. And because John was like a mentor to my husband and I said, okay, I'll say a prayer. So I did. And that morning at 3, I woke up and with dates in my head, which has never happened before or since. And it was October 7th through the 13th. I called John and said, I did what you asked. And, I woke up with these dates in my head. One of them I knew was the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. The other one, I don't think I realized that was the Fatima feast day. So he said, yeah, that's Our Lady. We'll do it next year, October 7th through the 13th, 1990. So he got the permits. We had this big, huge platform that was in front of the U.S. Capitol. There was probably about 500 people. It was open air. We had Wake Up America. And that first time, 7 congressmen came down from the Hill, knelt on the stage, I'll never forget this one, and prayed the rosary with us.
Now, this is the 33rd International Week of Prayer and Fasting. What is special about this year's events, and what can participants expect?
We have confessions all morning, confessions in the afternoon, several speakers in the morning, several speakers in the afternoon. And this year, we have 2 wonderful priests. Father Dan Rehill will be the main celebrant and the homilist. He is director of Radio Maria, and he is all over the YouTube. He's got some great stories. He is an exorcist. He's from the Diocese of Nashville, Tennessee, and we actually did a pilgrimage with him. Ted and I did a pilgrimage to Italy for the canonization of Carlo Acutis, so we got to really know him. And he will be offering the Mass, and he will also be giving the homily. And then we have Patricia Sandoval, who I know has an EWTN show. She's a fantastic speaker.
Now, if viewers wanted to join this week of prayer and fasting, where can they go?
So if they go to our website at IWOP4prayer.org, they can watch it'll be live streamed on the 15th, this Saturday, so they can watch it for free. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we will have free virtual speakers on each day. There's 4 speakers on each day.
Maureen Flynn, founder of the International Week of Prayer and Fasting Coalition, thank you so much. The Vatican has announced Pope Leo's meeting with the world of cinema. It will be November 15th. With it, they revealed the Holy Father's favorite films. It includes the 1965 classic, The Sound of Music. It was based on the real-life story of the Von Trapp family singers. Also on the list, Frank Capra's Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life. The story centers on George Bailey, who is thinking of ending it all on Christmas Eve, but he changes his mind after an encounter with his guardian angel. He is also a fan of Robert Redford's 1980 film Ordinary People, where a wealthy Illinois family breaks down after the death of one son in an accident and the suicide attempt of the other. Rounding out the list is Life is Beautiful. The 1997 film centers on an Italian Jewish bookstore owner who uses his imagination to protect his young son from the horrors of a Nazi concentration camp. Today, the church celebrates St. Martin of Tours, a soldier turned bishop. St. Martin was born to pagan parents in what is now Hungary around 316. He was forced to join the army at the age of 15. While serving in Gaul, modern-day France, he came across a man freezing without warm clothing. St. Martin stopped, cut his cloak in two, and gave one half to the freezing man. That night, in a dream, he saw Christ wearing the half cloak he gave to the poor man. He then joined the church. Eventually, he left the army, became a monk, and was made bishop. At the end of his life, St. Martin foresaw his own death and passed away in 397. St. Martin of Tours, pray for us. We thank you for watching tonight. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram at EWTN News Nightly. I'm Veronica Dudo. Good night and God bless.